everybody. Welcome to the Speed Gaming Daily Race tonight. This one is Hybrid Major Glitches. Might be something you've seen a bit this week because we are running a tournament in this mode. I'm joined by Chex Human. How are you doing?
Good, thanks, Malmo. Excited for another daily race featuring Hybrid Major Glitches. Should we talk about what is a hybrid major glitch?
Yes, let's go. Do you want to explain?
Well, just the gist, which is we are allowed to use major glitches. We're allowed to go out of bounds in the overworld, as well as the underworld. So this is a lot like overworld major glitches, but a few clips have been added to the underworld, which means that items can be even more random than they were before.
Yeah, there's some really complicated logic that gets introduced when you add 4 clips to the underworld. Just 4. It does some really fun things to Swamp Palace and to Misery Mire, Tower of Hera, and Ice Palace and Pod. That's 5 dungeons that get affected by this logic. So hopefully we'll get to see the seeds show that off for us. And we are off with Mr. Buyer starting at Link's house. Bleedy starting at Link's house as well.
Nice to see a red boomerang start. Why not? So what is Mr. Buyer checking first here? He's going to Hylia Island just to check. He's not going to pick that up, but if he wanted to, he could auto walk there with a bit of a clip, but we're not going to do that.
It's interesting because it doesn't involve the water at all. You kind of just go onto the screen transition and skip all the water and land on the island, but we won't be seeing that today. Mr. Buyer is killing the guard, which makes me think that he's going to Hobo. I'm going to show us a clip that gets to Hobo. This one does involve the water. You do have to get a fake flipper on this bridge. He's doing a fast setup where he clips into the railing. Sleepy is taking advantage of the start boots and hitting up the hospital's closet. An easy 3 checks you can get that can give you an edge in the race.
For sure. So we can achieve a fake flipper in a lot of different ways in this mode, and that was one of them.
Cane of Samaria Sync is our first item that we find that we actually care about. It won't really come into play until later, but it is good to have in your pocket. It is a weapon too, and if you get some magic, you can defend yourself. You can hit switches in Tower of Hera, since you can get to that very easily in this mode. So we might see it used a little bit earlier. We do have that boomerang as well that serves the same purpose.
Yeah. So we're seeing both runners take a Lost Woods route, and maybe we'll see what's on Lumberjack. Mr.
Buyer's doing a clockwise route. Sleepy's doing a counterclockwise route. They go to the same place. It's just a matter of preference. I think Mr. Buyer likes to do this route because it takes him to the Death Mountain climbing spot that takes you to the top of the mountain instead of the one that takes you to the Old Man Cave. So he doesn't have to commit to rescuing the Old Man on 3 hearts. He can start at the top of the mountain and work his way down. It does mean that he's pretty committed to the mountain, though, on this route.
So when we route overworld glitches and hybrid major glitches, it's helpful to think of the map as one giant arena, one big area that we can search in whichever kind of connected areas we want to kind of maximize our search space, items per minute.
Yeah, everything that looks like it's next to each other on your tracker, good rule of thumb is that it probably is in this mode. As you can see, Mr. Buyer just clipping right through that wall, lands on the mountain because that's where the mountain is. It's right next to the Lumberjack area. As we find 100 rupees in the basement of Hera, let's see what the other item is. It doesn't have to be a key in this mode. You can be expected to clip in through Mire.
Right. Sometimes Hera, the top of Hera is Mire locked.
And it is. It's a compass. There you go.
Right. And what that means is, of course, we need a medallion to access Hera.
Yeah, there's a diagonal wall in Misery Mire that you can clip through. It's one of 4 that the logic cares about. And it takes you to the fairy room that you Hera pot into, and it takes you back to Hera. So you can use Mire keys to open Hera.
We have a mirror and Kakariko well.
Always fun to find that early.
Ain of Burna.
Mr. Briar is using his boomerang to navigate the old man cave, making good use of his resources. As we find a glove on the old man, some good stuff in Kakariko to start with.
Yeah, the bottle bender.
Yeah, most people will get this eventually, but some people will put it off, hoping that they find something that makes Kakariko a little bit more thorough when they get there, like a bottle for Sick Kid, for example, or a flute if you wanted to activate your flute. You're probably not going to do it if you get it later because the flute's not required in this mode.
Yeah.
He got caught in the damaged state while rescuing the old man.
Yeah, that would be pretty funny if that occurred at 0 hearts. But luckily for Mr. Buyer, he's still alive.
Yeah, this is mountain is really, it's a very clippable space. You can see we just go up and down the mountain over and over again in this mode, and we got a pathway that takes us straight to Graveyard Ledge. For a lot of runners, this is going to be your first source of bombs. It also arms the Houlihan because it breaks her camera just enough for the game to not know where to put you when you fall down the hole. He's going to get more bombs because that's his only weapon, lacking magic. And I think that means that he's going to head into Mini Moldworm Cave. Do you think so?
I'm sorry, I just don't know. We'll see.
I'm just saying that because that's what I do. I get extra bombs
okay.
for that, for my Mini Moldworm play. And of course, the Houlihan just takes you right to Link's house, so you can go straight down. He also has the option to go to Saucerless Closet. He hasn't been there yet.
Yeah, I agree with that. It's something I would do. Like you said, something to find. There may be something to find before going to Kakariko.
Yeah, if there's like something on Magic Bat and Mr. Buyer finds the powder or something, he can go and get that item, and Spleeby would have to come back for it. That's the advantage you're hoping to find when you take these more aggressive routes in the early game.
And meanwhile, Spleeby is exploring desert. We do not need the Book of Medora to get in. We can just clip in from one of a handful of different angles. And Spleeby's using Cane to clear out the popos. Pretty nice. We have a cape.
That's both items in desert, so we don't have to come back here until we get a decent weapon for land mode. We can do this last if we wanted to. I don't expect it to be a huge rush. Often you'll wait for your Mire dive to mirror here and just clean up desert while you're around. So like, as we're saying, there's a lot more stuff in the early game that the game considers to be Sphere 1. So things like Kakariko, you'd expect to be a lot of density in a normal 7/7 open, but here it might not necessarily be that way. You usually find 1 or 2 things, but there's so much more game for the algorithm to place items in before it even gives you anything. Mr. Buyer has chosen not to go to Ice Rod Cave. I think because he found the flute, it actually makes sense for him to go to Kakariko now and activate the flute and then flute back to 7.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking as well.
He's making a liar of me by going to the mountain, though.
Okay.
This is a King's Tomb check. King's Tomb is similar descent to Graveyard Ledge, but you do a little extra buffering, and he lands between the rock and the bush, and the game doesn't know which one you're on, so it just picks up the rock.
It's a pretty touchy glitch to learn. Oh, we do have a book in Checkerboard Cave. That's funny.
It's convenient. We can just check that right now because There's a diagonal wall there, and I think you guys are figuring out that we can do things to diagonal walls. Eh.
So, yeah, Mr. Buyer is doing really well without a sword. And so is Sleepy, but getting to King's Tomb is not particularly easy. So that was pretty nice to see.
It looks like Mr. Buyer takes this route a lot. He knows exactly what he's doing.
Mm-hmm.
The clip is different without a sword, and he seems very practiced with it, and he knew to get extra bombs for mini Moldorms. He knew to save and quit out of there when he found the flute, because it would be faster to activate it and come back. So, very good routing from him. And Sleepy doing a more traditional Kakariko into South Shore after doing Desert. It's not really neither of them is really finding advantage over the other through these checks, because none of them have really found anything that makes the other route better.
And now that we have Mirror, there are some glitches that may be expected of us to get into the Dark World without Moon Pearl. We'll see if that holds true. It's not, we don't always have to see some wild Moon Pearl searches.
Please trying to Samaria corrupt that doorway. Wrong mode for that. I don't think you can do it that way, but that would be funny if that happened. Oops, we're in King's Tomb now.
Right.
Alright, let's see if Sleepy's gonna just walk to Ice Rod Cave. I don't know if it actually saves time if you have the boots to activate your flute, but he's already been to Cack, so it doesn't make as much sense for him to do what Mr. Buyer has done.
Yes.
And then he has to make a whole extra trip to Cack just to activate it, and you don't even need the flute for this mode.
Ooh. Very close call crab for Sleepy, but he quickly dispatches it with a rock.
That was good. Yeah, Sleepy also has the mirror, and if he finds the Moon Pearl, you can just mirror and activate the flute then. So doing this now makes a ton of sense from him.
Yeah, that's true.
So Sleepy armed the water walk on the way out. It's a really important part of glitch routing is the water walks are in logic to get the items out of Waterfall Ferry. You can also get the item on Zora Ledge through a clip.
Mm-hmm.
Activating that is pretty important because getting back here can be tough if you don't have the Moon Pearl or the flippers.
I mean, yes. We also, in terms of
There, case
there
in point,
we go.
the Moon Pearl is in there. So if you go there from the mountain, for example, and you don't have the flippers, you can't get that item because you won't get a water walk state even if you were to fake flipper inside.
All right, Sleepy gets a nice dash.
And there's a lamp on Zora Ledge.
Yeah, so it looks like Sleepy's going to check Zora. We'll lose a lot of money here, but we're probably not going to grab the 20.
I dread to see that gives you items in both Zora Ledge and Zora.
Sleepy's lineup was really good coming into Zora's domain, but coming out of Zora, he had to watch for some obstacles there.
I think he was, probably a little more practice going into Zora than out of it, because how often do you have to backtrack to this item? And also, he knows that he really wants that lamp, and he doesn't want to risk bonking, because that would be pretty disastrous.
Yeah, that would be a big time loss, considering.
This is going to be really nice for him, because he hasn't been to the mountain yet, so he has the lamp for Old Man Cave.
That is pretty nice. And he'll have it for the basement, which he can't get into.
You can't do the basement.
No,
we don't want to do the basement in this mode. There's a small key in Hera, and we are expected to use it in Hera basement, but we want to use it in Swamp because that's more convenient than taking one all the way from Mire. You'll see people put off Hera basement for a very long time in this mode, even when it is an item. Because that key is useful. Ice Rod and Back of Escape, and a small key. He's going to take the small key, which is a bit of a commitment. No, he decided not to. I agree with this play, because taking the small key back here takes it out of the equation. How do I explain this? You can get that small key into Tower of Hera through some clipping. So, but he can't do that if he comes from the back. He has to come from the front.
Yeah, the logic does not expect us to clip to escape from Tower of Hera, but it's something that we can do at this point, and just because. And there might be a temptation to steal a key in order to use it to clip into Swamp Palace and then unlock a door in Swamp. But we probably won't see that. It's possible, but we probably won't.
Now there is a key. So there is like a clip you can do to get from Hera to the sewers and pick up the key rat key. But you have to prepare for it by using the key in the door so that you can get there from Hera. And that's a good backup for if you've decided to gamble your Hera key away and realize you actually do need it for the basement. It's always good to have a backup because the game will let you hardlock your game by locking the Meyer medallion in there.
Yeah, in glitched modes, we know that we can't use keys in certain ways, in the worst possible ways. We'll talk more about that later as we go into other dungeons.
Oh, oops. Nice raid.
We do have a Minish Cap theme on Spleevy's stream, which I always appreciate.
It's a very cute sprite.
It is. One of the originals. Or very old sprites, that is.
Spleevy is really committed to not activating this flute because he climbed the mountain the glitched way. Well, he didn't have to, but I think, that was a nice little fwee. He doesn't have to, but I think at this point, you've already been to CAC. This is a good sign that he's never activating that flute, unless he mirrors from Thieves Town. Pendant Swamp, Pendant Mire, Pendant Skullwoods. It sounds like we'll be seeing a little less hybrid major glitches in this one.
All right, so what's Spleeby doing? He's doing the Turtle Rock climb. He's going across the land bridge on Death Mountain, and he's going to do some searching over here on the east side of the world. And Malma, can you remind me where Moon Pearl was in this?
Mr. Byer's about to find it right now.
Okay, that's right. He is about to find it. Now I remember.
Oh, you're dashing. Okay, thank you. Don't bonk there. I've done that before. It's very tempting to dash up that lane, and if you're off by a little bit, you lose your water walk state. That'd be very bad for him.
I love this Samaria clear of Spiral Cave.
Byer's doing the same things Bleeby did, looking at Zora and deciding it's nothing and going back for that lamp. He is really high up. I didn't know you could do that. He really doesn't want the item.
Right. It's right. Yeah. And meanwhile, Spleeby has the mirror and it becomes a pretty nice way to clear this part of the world. Okay, Mr. Byer's clipping a little lower than Spleeby is. Mm-hmm. It'll be interesting to see where this... Okay, good. It just puts him on the lower part of that area.
That clip is extremely forgiving. You can pretty much go anywhere and it'll self-correct. If you're too high and if you're too low, you'll just land somewhere else and be fine. There is one pixel where you can actually land inside the fence, and if you are careful, you can skip the whole walk around, but if you're not careful, you'll soft walk. So you have to be ready for it. And there's the flippers. So even if Byra had missed that moon pearl, he would have found the flippers up here and had the opportunity to clip back down and get the moon pearl. That's a really loaded paradox cave. Because we also found the glove, the mitts.
Uh-huh. All
As
right.
far
Some
as mitts
hover
are
routing.
useful. Yeah, nice hover. Yeah, there's a bow there too. Nice. Seeing that tracker light up with 3 items at once is always so satisfying. Shoutouts to our tracker, by the way, Lemmy.
So in Paradox, we had mitts, bow, and what else?
Mitts, bow, and flippers.
And flippers too. Okay.
Now, those are not as exciting as they might be because they lock Swamp Palace, which is a pendant, and things like Smith Chain you don't really want to do. Now we can now get into Ice Palace, but we don't have fire. But the game expects us to do it anyway because there's a clip in the first room you can get past the freeze orb.
Yep.
So those are things you kind of like go about. Like, the bow's good. I'll do that first, and then think about those other checks.
Yeah, without firepower, the game expects us to clear Ice Palace except for Freezer Chest and Cold Stare.
But Mr. Bear came from the mountain, the Dark Mountain. It's going to mirror 2 of these checks, which is pretty smart. No, I missed if Sleepy also did that.
Yes. Sleepy did the Turtle Rock climb.
All right, nice hovers. Nothing here. So my Mr. Bear is not going to lose anything by this.
Mm-hmm. Okay, Spleevy's changing his mind.
Is he checking the medallion? Yeah, check medallion in this mode. Oh, he's mirror clipping. Exactly. He's going into TR. This is a play.
Yeah.
I wonder if he doesn't know the no spin speed method to get in here. It's fairly simple. You just clip into that ledge and then dash down, right?
Yeah, and when Spleeby checked the medallion, there's a possibility he wasn't checking the medallion. He may have wanted to go to Catfish, because we can descend from the mountain to Catfish, but he changed his mind.
I'm curious why.
Hypothetical.
Why he chooses TR over Catfish. I mean, they're both like equivalent, but you know, he made a very, very deliberate decision to turn away from Catfish there, and I'm curious what was going through his head. This is
and we have a very dangerous fight here.
This is a very Gerudo Exile fight.
Oh yes, absolutely.
Oh, look at that! He looks like he's played Gerudo Exile. Look at that aim.
Yeah, fantastic.
Just don't die, please, because that's a lot to lose. Nice shots. He's stealing the key because he doesn't want to lock himself out of the front. This is a very safe play to do, but he doesn't have the cane, so the front... Oh, he does have the cane. He doesn't have the fire rod. That's what he's missing.
I had a little trouble with the Moldorms here with the Samaria strats, but that's okay, he got through it. And he's rewarded with his bow, flippers, and glove upgrade. More.
Oh no.
Oh no.
No, dude.
The chain chomps are basically the worst enemy in this game.
Yeah. That's why we don't do them in the speedrun, right? Right?
Yeah, depending on the speedrun you choose, you may be able to skip this the chain chomps room.
So yeah, this mode does have a speedrun equivalent called Restricted Major Glitches All Dungeons. It's really fun, and you get to skip chain chomps unless you're stupid and open the door by accident. But yes, Sweetie is going to go back for that chest and hopefully find something that made this worth it. The best thing you can find here is the fire rod, because nobody's going to want to go here without a fire rod, and he decided to, and that would put him very far in the lead. Mr. Buyer is clipping to...
What is happening?
Do anything here, though. There's no... Okay. He's missing both the sword and the medallion. I'm not sure what his intention was. I wonder if he thought he was going to the Dark World portal there. Oh, we got another Gerudo exile fight from Spleevy.
This has been the wildest race so far. I love it.
And he's landing every shot. I don't know. He practices this.
Yeah.
Why does he
So
practice
good.
this? I have questions, Spleevy.
Yeah.
He gets his key back so he can safely go into the chomps. Not the chomps, but where is he? He's gonna go out the front. He's gonna hover? I don't think so.
Uh-oh.
Oh, Spleevy.
Right.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. Because that would be a heck of a hover if he was gonna do that.
So. I don't know if we logically determined anything about the middle chest. Sleepy was really thinking about it, skipping it. It looks like he's going back.
I think he thought he had the fire rod and was feeling like he was gonna do TR. But you can't do Trinex because he doesn't have a weapon.
Yeah.
Alright, Mr.
Okay.
Byre is doing a spin speedless Death Mountain descent, which is actually the same. It's just a little tricky because you have to have clean clips. Also, great game knowledge farming these bombs. Every one of these diagonals on the arrow is a 50-50 bomb drop. We did get the big key, which puts Laser Bridge in logic. Is that correct? Yeah, no, because we don't have enough small keys to get to that big key. So, TR is medallion locked. Did he find Ether? Inside of TR? Because he has it.
Ether was in Sphere 1, but I
Okay.
don't remember which chest it was.
So this is the only thing locking this is the sword. So I wonder if he saw Ether as the medallion and decided that it's in logic and he should do it.
Just so many possibilities.
The only thing that's keeping it out of logic right now is one sword.
That's right. It was Desert Ledge where Spleeby found Ether. Spleeby's being very careful. I appreciate that. Okay, Spleeby's being extra careful and is going to take the safety exit for a
He worked
spawn
hard.
point.
He worked hard to get here.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm actually really silly for saying that it's just sword lock because the fire rod is also locking those chests in the front.
Mm-hmm.
They have the keys that he's missing. Because he could have burned keys inside of the Chain Chomp's room and not been able to progress to the big key.
Mm-hmm.
So everything back here is fire rod locked. I didn't find it here, and you didn't find anything else, so the logic no longer matters. The nice thing, though, is when he does find fire rod and weapon, he can just go back to Trinex and doesn't have to do those fire chests. Because he did get a key on Laser Bridge.
That's right, he did.
And meanwhile, Mr. Byre is hitting up front of Skull, also without the fire rod. I thought he was saving the portal, but that's not something you do in glitch modes.
Well, I'm not sure what Spleeby's doing. Oh, okay.
Hookshot Cave again? He's just getting back up the mountain to do catfish. He's going to correct his camera up here and he's going to clip down.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was kind of laughing at his boomerang of the dead rock that almost killed him. But the boom, it was a swag boom.
Yeah, because he was facing one way and the boom went the other direction. I didn't even know that was possible.
Yeah, so direction plus Y.
Catfish is right below the mountain because they're actually next to each other in the map.
Mm-hmm.
Village of Outcast is turning up empty for Mr. Byre so far.
Spleeby's out of here. He's not. His route ends here. He's not going to explore the main Dark World from the northeast corner.
Now, there are better ways to get to the Dark World, and there are also better ways to get to Pod if he decides to go there.
Mm-hmm.
I would be a little suspicious of Pod right now. The only thing we're really missing for it is the hammer, and you can get back pretty easily. But he has a whole lot of Dark World to clear as well. Well...
And another kind of backwards movement.
Bait and
Backwards
switch.
jump is pretty funny.
This is, screen wrapping himself to get to Pyramid Fairy. This is Pyramid Fairy. Yes. Okay, so he looks like he's doing the same thing twice, but actually what he's done is he has not fixed his camera. And by doing so has desynced himself from the position that the map thinks he's on. So if he were to press X here, it would show him at Hyrule Castle. And the mirror portal he placed would also be at Hyrule Castle. And you'll see that in a second, why that's useful.
Right, we do not need crystals 5 and 6 to get a big bomb. We don't need a big bomb we don't need the super bomb to open up the wall to Pyramid Fairy. We don't need to open up the wall.
No.
We just need to clip in with a mirror clip, an offset mirror portal.
Spleevy planning to get back because he just he might be death warping out of King's Tomb because he just corrected his camera on purpose.
Yeah. So we could do a DMD. Yeah, you could do a Houlihan. Yeah.
Houlihan also breaks for some reason when you do the teleport on the 4th bump. I don't even know why I remember that, but and that's only if you use it at the back of Escape drop down.
Oh, funny.
I wonder if he thinks he has Houlihan. He might just be going to West Side Breeze.
Yeah.
Yeah, he's just gonna walk.
Mm-hmm.
He might have accidentally disarmed Houlihan. Oh, he's gonna river clip. Oh, that's kind of neat. This is the speedrun strat. If you get silver arrows. It's a little screen wrap you do that gets you to the top of Hyrule Castle, and you can go straight into the portal while screen wrapped. But he's just gonna fix his camera so you can find it, and also do the escape right now, which is kind of neat.
Yeah.
Mr. Breyer has a heck of a blind fight coming up.
Ooh. Well, he has half magic. He has Burna. But how is he going to manage his resources here?
Yeah, he doesn't really have half magic unless he has magic. He has he has literally half of a magic bar in his magic meter, which is kind of a literal interpretation of half magic that he probably would rather not have.
Yeah.
You might be checking stun prizes, killing enemies, hoping for a drop, but I don't believe there are any magic pots on the way in Thieves Town that I'm aware of.
There's a 1/8 decanter and the bottom left jail cell.
Oh, I remember Taj though getting that in a race and still not having enough. So it's kind of sketchy.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the combat in the sea has been very difficult. Oh, we're getting a frozen guard kill.
Yes. Speaking of combat, it's like, yeah, you could have shot arrows at him, but that's no fun. You have the ice rod, use it.
Yes, using Sumaria for blind would be a good idea as well. I agree with that idea. So
there's 4 pots. 2 of them are hearts, and one of them is magic, and one of them is a bunny beam. Meyer seems to know which one is the bunny beam, so he's avoiding it. There is also, is there an item in the big chest? There is a key in our inventory.
I'm not sure.
Magic powder in back of escape. Sleepy is going to open this door. This is a kind of safety move that I mentioned earlier.
Yeah.
To set up for a key steal that he might have to do later if he chooses to purposely misspend keys in Hera. Mr. Breyer is opting for the King of Samaria for this fight. Probably his only option because he doesn't have enough magic for Burna. It is a little hazardous, but he does have blue mail.
Hmm.
And can keep his distance if he plays it safe. Oh, and he has a potion. That's good. It's really good to see. I think he'll be fine now.
Yeah, you just can't let too many more blocks be deleted.
No. And the thing is like Blind's Head will also weaken the block. Even the ones that don't take damage. That's a compass on Blind. I didn't see if we got the map.
Yeah, it's a kind of a funny thing about the Samaria blocks. All sprites do damage to the Samaria block, basically. I think it's something like all sprites, basically. Like if you go into a shop and place a block next to a shop item, I'm pretty sure the shop items will defeat the block.
How does it determine like the collision? How many times it hits?
Yeah, it's pretty frequent. The block doesn't have many iframes. I don't know how that works.
Sleepy's going to pod. Okay, so Sleepy cannot. I want to say cannot asterisk. I have a feeling you're going to correct me on this. Cannot do the screen wrapped glitch that gets you here, that people like to call Kiki Yeet.
Oh.
Without spin speed. Is that correct? Is there a way to do it without spin speed?
Yeah, there's a way to do it. We would just position Link just a couple of pixels off of the bottom wall, or
a little
boots
high.
clipping. Mm-hmm.
All right, good to know.
Yeah,
I wonder
not
if I
common
could
knowledge.
make that more consistent over spin speed in this speed run, because I hate spin speed.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Asking for a friend.
Definitely an option.
I've been known to replace spin speeds with boots clips, because for people who can mash buttons better than they can do next frame inputs, it's kind of better. So that's a Bombos from Mire. Bombos is the medallion logically required to get into Mire and probably required to get into Swamp, which is also a pendant. So it's a thing we don't really want to see. On the other hand, we do want to have it for Ice Palace if we don't find a Fire Rod soon, because we don't want the seed to force us into Ice Palace without some kind of weapon to kill Cold Stare and be forced to double dip it. Ooh, we're going for the... However, Sweetie has said no. He wants to know... I think he realizes there's actually nothing there for him. There's just 2 keys.
Oh.
Yeah, he found 2 things that weren't keys and he realizes that there's nothing there for him, so he's going to skip them. You can do that in hybrid major glitches because he opened that door for free in cave state. So when you're in a cave, you have basically a lot of keys because the game does not distinguish no key counter from having 255 keys. That's how it knows display no key counter, and those keys are usable, so you can spend them in caves. So by opening an extra door, Sleepy can skip a key in pod and not have to do the Bowlock side.
I have not been so fortunate to avoid the Bowlock side, but I have adopted your route that you are a proponent of. I like it.
Yeah, where you do the bridge chest, because if it's Fire Rod and pod. Very nice. Yeah, you do the bridge chest first so that you know if you need to drop down to the actual big key chest or just the Southwest basement to get one small key. Sleepy is correctly counting his keys in here, which is really hard to do in the mode where the number of keys you carry to the back depends on a lot of variables.
Right.
I've seen a lot of people, myself included, open Harmless Hallway for a key because your normal methods of counting keys don't work in this mode. So Sleepy has both rods and the cane, but still no sword and no hammer.
I don't know what's going on here.
And
this is a tough seed to find combat weapons.
Seed, so he doesn't need a hook shot, but he might need to clip into Mire to get to Hera if he doesn't find a hook shot, because he can't climb Hera at all without a hook shot.
Yeah. Yeah, so in this game, there are diagonal walls in Mire and in Hera, and we can take advantage of those so that in this mode, Hera and Mire are connected, and they also connect to Swamp Palace by way of Hera. So the the logic of this mode expects us to use our Mire keys, which we have extra keys in this game. So we might need to use those to unlock Swamp or to unlock Hera doors.
Yeah, when you click between dungeons or between cave and dungeon, the game has no way of knowing you've actually entered a different dungeon. It will just keep your dungeon state based on where you entered from the overworld. So if you're in Mire and you have a Mire big key and you clip into Hera, you unlock the Mire big chest, you unlock the Mire big door, or the Hera big door, you're using the Mire key to do that. And if you unlock a small key door, you are consuming a Mire key. You're expected to consume one Mire key in Swamp to unlock it from the inside so that you can clear Swamp without coming in from the front. That allows you to skip certain items like the mirror and the hammer. Also allows the small key of Swamp to be placed anywhere in the dungeon.
Right.
Yeah, a race earlier today had hammer and Swamp and mirror in GT behind the hammer. It's very real. This can happen to you too.
Oh no.
Hammer Helmasaur with no spin speed is also a little scary. This is the old school way of doing Hammer Helma. You really have nothing to help you here. You just have to wail on him and then shoot him with arrows.
And where did we find Hammer?
I missed that. It must have been in Pod because I didn't see it when he came in. That's a really good point.
I missed it too. I can't believe it. My eyes have been peeled, but
yeah,
I missed that check.
I was just talking about skipping the hammer, and next thing I know, I'm talking about Sleepy using the hammer on Helmasaur and don't even think twice about it. We'll see if Mr. Byer, I think he came in from the light world, so he's not positioned to check Pod right now.
Yeah, he fluted to 5, and without a hammer, he could not check. He couldn't transition to the dark world. And Spleeby is now going into Eastern.
So, interestingly, Spleeby is in, I want to say Sword Go mode. However, that Hera is a sticking point for him, and he has to find either the medallion for Mire or the hook shot to do Hera. Oh, this is spicy.
Yeah. So Hera Pot is not in logic, but it is a way that we could clear the dungeon. The logic would expect us to have the Mire medallion at this point. Just like we saw before, the tower was locked by Mire. We have a vanilla big key Eastern Palace, so both runners will be clearing it the same way. For sure. Oh, and I love Spleeby's strat here. He uses a 3 arrow strat to clear out the skeletons.
Yeah, I believe that one came from Espeon.
Yeah.
It's just a little bit faster than the other methods. But of course, you don't see it in NMG because you don't have a bow yet. So it's very much a rando strat, but worth learning if you want to look cool on Restream. Mr. Byer's heading to Armos. I didn't really count to see if there's an item here, but it's a crystal, so we're going to do it anyway. And Spleeby's going to be there shortly as well. Spleeby has a considerable item lead, having picked up both rods and the hammer.
Yeah, one thing about Pod is the same bow logic applies that, as in no major glitches rules. But we can unlock doors, but that's not expected.
Mm-hmm. We did come in with the bow. So the only thing it really affects is the other bow. Like if you're missing both bows and you find one bow locked, it's still bow locked, and you're supposed to find a different bow. Very nice Armos fight from Fire. Picking up an arrow refund, which is nice to have. I wish I could ban Pendant Swamp from this tournament. It always makes me so disappointed because, first of all, it makes hover seeds, but also we don't get to see all the cool clips most of the time.
Right. The inter dungeon travel really defines major glitches, and it's great that is still a big part of hybrid major glitches compared to other glitch modes. But sometimes we just don't see it.
Yeah,
Just depends on the items.
Sometimes you just get to watch a nice little Overworld glitches seed, and those are fun too. Don't forget its little brother. I guess it's his big brother, because hybrid is pretty brand new. It's a baby.
Yes.
And so we'd be having a little bit more trouble in Armos, but he gets it. So where is Mr. Bauer going next? Coming out of Sanctuary makes me think back of Escape. He hasn't done that yet. He can also pick up Kingston, but I think he already went there. So where do you think the swords are, and how many of them are in Swamp?
Oh, yeah. So I'm thinking four swords in Swamp.
That's what I'm hoping
That's gotta be the answer here.
I want to see the clips.
But I suppose we need a sword to get into Swamp, which probably locks.
It's true.
Meyer probably locks Swamp.
There is a asterisk on that as always. The small key can still be placed vanilla, and we do have every item we need to get inside from the front. It's really that small key that usually locks us out. There are 10 locations in Swamp that can have the small key. Pick a number between 1 and 10. If it's not 1, then Swamp is Meyer locked.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so we have a okay. Change of course.
Well, the Fire doesn't have the hammer.
Yeah, he doesn't have the hammer. But he is going to Pyramid Fairy. That's
Please cannot get spin speed out of here. Oh no. Yeah, so normally you do Spike Cave front to back, and then you exit Spike Cave with the spin speed and your invincibility item to continue to Ganon's Tower. Sleepy couldn't do that because he doesn't have access to spin speed yet. How wild is that? We are 47 minutes into the seed and we cannot get spin speed.
I might have used the cape and just dashed a lot. But...
yeah, with half magic that might work. I wonder where Sleepy is going now. He's clipping across the mountain. Is he going to try Hammer Trinex? Ooh, soft
I
block.
hope so.
Oh,
yeah, this is it's an easy soft block to occur if we... I think if you push up... It
usually happens when people are trying to go really fast on that clip.
Yeah,
the more comfortable you get with it, the more often you soft block in my experience.
Right. There's a newer way which is a little faster than the old 4 circle backs way, and I find that the newer way I tend to mess up a little bit more often.
I agree. You're talking about the thing where you do 3 circles and it snaps you into the mirror wrap spot?
Yeah. The old way has the half circle backs. And Spleeby's doing it, yeah.
There you go. Is that the old way or the new way?
That's the old way.
Oh.
Although
there's a new way I'm not aware of. Hammer was on Pyramid Ledge.
Oh, Hammer was on Pyramid
Sleepy has had it for the whole time. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
We just weren't paying attention.
Yeah, so that's what happened after Pyramid Fairy. Okay.
I see now.
Gotcha. So that
you did a weird route through pyramid, so it kind of normally you like do pyramid first and then mirror and do the escape, but he did a screen wrap and had to correct his camera at the escape to even be able to see the item on pyramid ledge, so he did that first. And that kind of distracted me a little bit.
And I was probably going on about escape keys.
Escape keys, yeah. We talk about keys a lot in this mode. It's kind of obsessive. If we're considering it's not even key sanity.
Yeah.
Nice hammer Helma, or hammer Trinex from Sweetie. He's going to take advantage of the half magic and just, using that time you can't actually use the hammer yet because he can't menu.
What is going on with his head? It's unhittable.
So the rods don't start at your nose; they start at the tip of your rod, like in real life.
Right.
So if the enemy is like right in front of you, it actually just goes past him instead of hitting him.
Yeah.
This happens a lot on like Landmo when you do Ice Rod Landmo.
Yeah, Ice Rod is difficult to control that way. Yeah. So it seems like there are only 2 small keys in the roller room. Is that true?
Oh, there has to be. There's 2 keys in. Trying to think of where there are key doors that he didn't open because he did go forward. It might be 1 because there's 1 key in Chomps he didn't open.
Oh.
He seems to think it's 2 because he's not going back in.
Yeah.
He might hit up Mimic Cave because he does have access to that.
Yeah.
He can't open that, Sweetie.
What are we doing?
No, he knows there's something in there because there is only 1 key door he didn't open, and it's the one behind him in Chain Chomps.
Okay.
That's unfortunate if it's something.
Now he's doing the okay, so he's going.
Does know it. He just didn't feel like it at the time, and there's Lionel's there too, harassing you.
I think he had a kind of a mental block where he dashed to the right instead of down. So.
I see. It's not common that you're 50 minutes into the seed and cannot spin speed clip.
No, exactly.
Yeah, you can clip through walls while in spin speed state, even when you're not going fast, and we use that a lot. It's kind of invisible. You don't really notice people doing it, but when they don't have access to it, they have to use different methods. Ooh, Mr. Buyer is going to hammer pegs, which he can route. He can route this into the smith and the powder. This is a really smart play.
Yeah, so it's a long swim, but it does mean that the pyramid can be checked right before hammer pegs, and we still don't have a sword, so we can't hammer dash.
No. That's sad. Did you know that when you try to hammer dash without a sword and you bonk it still shows you having a sword?
Yeah, it looks pretty goofy.
Do you think the smiths are going to temper Mr. Buyer's hands and give him a sword?
Probably. Oh no, that's a mirror bonk.
Yes, but we also have to do swordless Death Mountain Descent.
Yeah, that can be a little scary.
There's a reason we instruct people learning this mode to start with a sword.
Yeah, right.
It just makes things so much nicer to learn the clips. A lot of the boots clipping that you see is like same frame inputs that you have to mash and can be difficult for people. Spin speed is a lot easier for beginners who already know how to spin speed and haven't figured out grips for their controller yet to do these glitches.
Right. Some people like to change their grips to perform dash buffers, and it's kind of funny to compare to other people. Everyone does it their own unique way.
Mr. Byer's not doing the smith.
Okay. He just got a shovel from the powder bat.
Oh, that's just rude.
Yeah.
We got powder into the shovel. This is chat seed.
Go fetch.
I didn't do anything. It's a heart piece.
No.
Sleepy has the fire rod, but he doesn't have a sword and cannot reach him off away.
This is the sword. The sword's going to be in the back of Skull.
Oh, gosh.
It'll be terrible.
That's terrible. We might be wrong because I didn't count items in here. And I hope you're wrong. I hope it's wrong because I don't want that to be, because that's bad.
Yeah, and there's a pretty good chance a sword it will be in Ganon's tower. At this point, we haven't seen Ganon's tower yet.
We have access to a lot. I think people just...
Yeah.
I don't know why Sleepy is avoiding it, because he can hover. I think he just wants a sword. Like, for Ganon's tower.
Mm-hmm.
You don't want to just gauntlet with nothing. You have projectiles and that's it. And Aghanim is going to be a hammer Aghanim? Is that even possible?
Yes.
That's awful.
It is.
Oh gosh, he doesn't even have a bug
very
net.
bad.
Actually, he does have a bug net. I saw him use it. We just don't track it. I can't believe we're talking about the bug net with sincerity. Right. Like, unironically wondering whether a runner has the bug net. You know they're not in a good position.
It is much better than the hammer, for sure.
Yeah, but he would also have to hover. He would probably just choose not to go there because he knows that he probably wants the hook shot for Tower of Hera, if nothing else. So he's going to do a much safer play of just clearing Village of Outcasts, which is something we saw Mr. Byer do already.
Okay, so our runners may be retracing each other's steps a bit here. Sleepy may be going into Thieves Town. He's got the hammer this time, so we will be able to see the big chest that
correct.
Byer did not see.
That is the risk of doing this early.
Yeah. And we know that we won't find a sword here, so for me it'll be interesting to see how Sleepy approaches blind.
Oh, see, Mr. Byer did the same pause. He's going to realize that he doesn't have a key for this, but he also doesn't need to do it. I wonder if he knows that he can skip. Okay, he remembers. I hope he doesn't do bow lock side. I hope he knows.
Oh, that's funny. Yeah.
That is one of the nice things about Kiki skip, is you get to skip that. Very good. He's skipping it.
So, Byer prepared for a right side check by bombing the wall, but I still don't know if we're going to see that.
If he hammer yumps, he doesn't have to. You do have to hammer yump if you do this key skip.
Oh, yeah.
Because you're skipping one key by opening the free door. That's a hammer yump killing fairy. Glad he's not actually doing that yet. But, yeah, you skip one by opening the door, but you have to skip the other one by hammer yumping. Yeah, we are still swordless, an hour into the seed. And we're wondering how many are in Swamp. It can't be 4. Well, it can be if the key layout is correct, but it's very unlikely.
Okay, 2 in Swamp, 1 in Ganon's Tower, 1 in Skullwoods.
Alright, let's go. I'll give you the Skullwoods one if you let me have Swamp, because I want to see them go into Swamp in the seed.
Yeah.
Swamp is my favorite dungeon in Hybrid, even though Ice Palace is just the best dungeon in general.
Mm-hmm.
Ice Palace is fun for execution. There's a lot of glitches you can do that make it fast and then let you route it differently. But Swamp is a puzzle. It's super fun to pick it apart in this mode when you have to think really hard about how to do it. You don't just go front to back.
Sleepy's got red mail. He doesn't mind just bonking into a buzz.
Mm-hmm. He's very red, but no red sword.
Nope.
Nope, no red sword. They really are just retracing each other's steps, because everybody has done things that make sense. At some point, they're going to have to start doing things that don't make sense.
Uh-huh, well, yes. That's true.
I still think there's a sword on Smith.
Oh yeah, yeah.
And I think it unlocks Swamp and Mire and has a bunch of logical requirement stuff in it. Because like we need access. The logic expects us to have the medallion for Mire and a sword to get in. Just to do Hera. So it has to put a sword somewhere.
And only 50 rupees in Thieves' Big Chest, so buyer loses nothing by skipping it.
And we talk about sword go mode. It's actually really likely for Skleeby, but he also is missing another item, which is, as I mentioned before, some kind of way to get to the top of Tower of Hera without the big key. We can sequence break it with the hook shot using Hera Pot, or we can do what the seed intends us to do and find the Mire medallion and go there that way. All right, we get dual canes from Skleeby, just dual wielding them, like
Yeah.
one from each hip. Oh, imagine how much lag. I suppose there's nothing stopping you from having both canes out at once.
They kind of change color in the middle of quick swapping from one to the other.
Yeah, you can actually quick swap off of Berna, and they'll turn red. And that's true even if you're not quick swapping to cane. Even if you quick swap to Mirror, it'll turn red. You see this a lot in the Cannonball room in GT. Sick kid check? Have we seen that yet?
Yeah, I don't recall. I feel like it's nothing.
Yeah, that sounds about right.
Just a piece of heart. Okay, Buyer's got bow fight here. Good way to clean. Pretty much the only way to deal with this.
I think I would just slam my face into him with the hammer because you have so much health, you know. Might as well.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. It's just that the hammer hitbox is absurdly small.
It is, and if you're used to the spin speed hammer extension, it will be even smaller than you expect.
Or even holding sword out would make it better. With swordless, we get like one pixel of a window where we can hit Helma. Something like that.
Mr. Byer's getting a heal. This looks like Spy Cave. I wonder if he's going to realize he's gonna have to consume a lot of magic to get out of here.
Mm-hmm.
He's going into Hera to correct his camera. I wonder what that means. Turtle Rock, possibly. He's got his mirror out. Yeah, this is TR. This is a Trinex, which makes sense. He has to go all the way through the back to get the big key. And if there is an item in the Firelock chest, he'll get those too.
Yeah, I didn't really finish what I was saying about the mirror wrap. There's an older version where we had to line up at the bottom of the land bridge, and that's pretty much obsolete at this point. But yeah, the newer version is a lot easier in terms of that lineup.
I still use that as a backup if I mess up the setup, but or if I'm coming from the other side of the bridge, I'll just drop down to the bridge and use the old setup. But most people will be using this new setup. It's really not that hard to get into glitch modes. You just pretty much everything has had so many iterations of setups and easier ways to do it that it becomes very accessible. All right, we're finally seeing the Smith chain from Skleeby. He has turned in the Smith and it's not a sword. I am wrong.
Oh.
But it could still be purple chest.
Yeah. Yeah, we know there was just 3 bombs.
Oh.
Why? Okay.
I do believe I have counted keys now, and there is something not a key in the Firelock chest.
Yeah.
Besides counting key doors, I've seen 3 keys.
Mm-hmm.
I had missed if there was one in Crystal Roller Room, but there is. Well, so maybe we'll get to route in the shovel with the purple chest turn in. If Mr. Byer comes back for this, we'll have the flute and we'll just flute it to 7. So it didn't really make sense for Byer to try to route these together. Sweetie has a flute too. He's just been against activating it on principle, most likely.
Yeah.
He doesn't deign to activate the flute and glitched. Alright, he's left the purple chest behind, but no worries. We will be getting the item from it. Where's he going? That's not where you clip to get to purple chest. So I'm not sure what he's doing.
I'm not sure either, but...
Mire Shed? Can you do Mire Shed and the purple chest is still there? I guess so. Yeah.
Yeah, the purple chest only disappears as a follower if you get another follower, or if you have a follower clear from the crystal cutscene.
Did he just get a first frame dash in Mire Shed?
Probably, yeah.
That was impressive.
That's always fun to go for.
Getting the news that he needs bombos if he wants to climb Tower of Hera. Because Tower of Hera requires a medallion.
Yep.
What a weird mode.
Yeah, this makes it pretty interesting for Sleepy. I mean, it's obviously interesting for us because we know like you said, he needs 2 swords and a way to get into the top of Tower of Hera.
It kind of reminds me of like No Glitch's Desert Access, where you need like the mirror or the book.
Yeah.
It's easy to forget that you need those things for Go mode.
Right.
You're used to just kind of finding flute mirror mitts or finding the book, and next thing you know, you got a Mire pendant, and you're not thinking about Mire at all. You're like, I'm in Go mode, and suddenly you can't get into desert. Sleepy is having the same problem with Hera, except he also doesn't have a sword, so he's not really in Go mode. I missed if Mr. Byer did the front, or if he chooses to come back in, because he found the big key. I wonder if he's going to come back in from the other side after defeating Trinex and doing the last checks.
Yeah, maybe.
Because Sleepy tried to mirror out and use the hammer pigs and open the front without a sword, but you can also just hold down when you exit TR, just like you do with Pod, and that kicks you back into the dungeon.
Right, and then you just enter by pressing up.
Sleepy's clipping across the world to check Hobo, which we saw as Mr. Byer's second check. Oh,
Sleepy did a down. Yeah,
yeah,
Mr. Byer got kicked out the wrong way, unfortunately.
He held down he held up instead of down to try to get back in, and then he's gonna get the bad news. Also, he realized it in the third peg. Fair enough. This will probably just mirror bonk him. Oh, the hammer stays pegged when you... Wait, that's news to me. I didn't know that.
I didn't know. I kind of had a feeling.
There's no portal. What the heck?
Oh, what, the portal disappeared?
No, like if you mirror bonk and then the hammer pegs stay down, but when you hammer the third one, there's no portal.
Oh, yeah. Yeah,
that's news to me.
It was kind of news to me. I feel like I've seen that before, but yeah, that's pretty ridiculous.
I think he just goes in through the middle. He tries to use ether, just like Sleepy did.
This. Not good. Oh, we can go into Ice Palace.
Oh yeah, with the fire rod. Sleepy is choosing to go forward.
Yeah. So we could do the ice clip. That is a way we can save a key and go directly to bombable floor. But Sleepy is...
He's having a little trouble with these bomb strats, but he doesn't have a whole lot of options to deal with the pen gators.
Fire had the same trouble that Sleepy had, which is he wants to dash right, but that's not the right way. Okay, but he finds that he can dash down. so that's good.
It's not something you have to do very often.
Yeah,
And
exactly.
feels right, literally. Like it's to your right.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
want to
yeah,
go
yeah.
right. And he's going back in, which tells me big chest is probably something he didn't get yet, and he doesn't know that the big key or the small key is here and not in the front. So I wonder if he chooses to backtrack.
Okay.
Oh, that was an item. Never mind. I thought there was a key there. But I guess not. There's... Where were the keys? Was the key in the lava chest? It must have been the lava chest.
Oh, I'm not sure. So, meanwhile, Spleeby now has his medallion, his third medallion, which
Oh, he
gives
does.
him access to Hera. Yeah,
So
it
he's in
was
sword go mode. Oh no.
exactly. Yeah, we knew it would happen. He needs 2 swords for go mode.
What a frustrating seed, but very fun to watch. I love seeing the strats people pull out when they're doing a swordless.
Yeah.
You can very
Wow.
easily see how Mr. Byer can medallion lock himself in this dungeon. Because if he had accidentally turned up and opened that door, he would not be able to progress.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of goes to show where the logic comes from.
And he would need, yeah, he has the medallion, but not the sword.
Yeah, it doesn't mean a sword can't be here, but it won't be your logical first sword. Which means that it can't be like a sword here and also...
Oh, I wonder what happened to Spleeby's setup, where he was going to do a bomb jump, but then he fell. I'm not sure.
He doesn't have a sword, so he probably was thinking about spin speed setup and alternatives to it and had to do something he's less practiced at. I didn't see it, but that's my guess.
Yeah. He also found the hook shot, so the Ice Palace has in Ice Tea Room. So,
Nice. Everything's just in ice the whole time.
it's 2 progression items here.
Good thing they gave us Fire Rod because it didn't have to. They could have just expected us to come in here, get our bombos, come out, and get a sword somewhere else, and come back in to fight Cold Stare.
Okay, now he's got it. He's got the big key now, and he has the hook shot, so he can clip around these blocks, or not, because maybe he found the 3rd item.
I've been told that it is faster to not hit the switch if you're doing a normal front-to-back Ice Palace and doing Icebreaker, but I'm not sure if that checks out. But I do see it a lot more lately. People purposely not hitting the switch. And that is only if you're full clearing. If you're in go mode, you hit the switch, unless you find a big key in Pengator, but then you're... Why are you in Pengator? You're in go mode.
Yeah, that sounds right to me.
Oh, don't run out. You got this. For a green rupee. He's gonna try to exit, but I don't think that's gonna help him much. So at 1 hour and 10 minutes approximately, Spleeby has found spin speed. Oh, he's just gonna brute force it with the potion. Okay, that makes sense. This is gonna be our first dip into Ganon's tower. Where all the swords are gonna be.
Yeah. I will not be surprised if we see 2 in GT. Silvers are in Hope Room.
Oh, okay. So at least when we find our Master Sword, we're not doing Master Sword Silverless. Small mercy.
Yeah. Alright, so Spleeby can clear Hera now. Did we find one item in Hera?
Yeah, 100 rupees in the basement cage.
Right, 100 rupees. Yeah.
And then there was a compass in the other chest.
Hmm.
I don't know why I remember that.
Yeah, well.
I think it helps. It helps me play without a tracker because it's easier to remember something if I know exactly what it was.
Yeah. 100 rupees is special too. It's the only one in the game.
It is. It's unique. I think I just remember Sleepy choosing not to pick it up and then wondering
Oh, yeah.
if he had enough rupees for Zora. Big Key was on Muldorm because, of course, it can be. So Sleepy had the option of dropping down and opening the big chest, hoping to find a sword. But at this point, it's kind of a low percent play, and I think what he'll probably do is come in here when he's ready to search Swamp, which might be now, actually. Maybe that's now.
Maybe, but he doesn't have a key. So
He has to open more doors in Hera or pick up his key rat key that he set up for.
yes.
So he's not committed to Swamp yet. He's
I
still
think
thinking Hera.
I think he'll open that big chest. And then we'll see.
He's also in his 6th crystal, and he just has to do desert. And the only thing stopping him from being in the game is Ganon.
Yeah. That's exactly right.
Tower of Hera is not really the best place to look at sword. The fact that the medallion use requires one, but there's 3 other swords, so it could still be here. He found a heart piece and no small key, so he does not have a convenient way to get into Swamp at all. He has to steal a key or find another sword.
Wow.
He's going to go to GT. This makes sense. Mr. Byer's here too. Several crystals behind, unfortunately.
Ooh, and Mr. Byer does not have...
No, he doesn't have the hook shot. Squeeby can full clear this without any shenanigans, except swordless. Oh, he's doing item dash setup. This is so good.
Oh my gosh, I forgot about this. This is a thing that I heard about before I learned the spin speed, or before the sword spin setup.
Yeah, it was like a flash in the pan. It was discovered that you could do this, and then someone was like, "Oh, you can also do this with the sword spin. It was so much easier." And every once in a while, somebody prefers the item dash, because they just don't understand the spin version. And then every once in a while, somebody just doesn't have a sword, and it's really good to have that in your back pocket.
Right.
Sword.
That's so interesting.
And
High five from our runners.
They're from the same room. Sleepy's going to go through here a little faster, though, having the hook shot. Doesn't have to do any bomb jumps.
And Spleeby, we're seeing the better equipment catch Spleeby up here.
Yeah, you can see Spleeby can just walk here and push the block and hook the chest. And Fire has to do this whole hammer thing to get onto the pit, and it's kind of awful.
Yeah, there it goes again. The item dash to the edge.
You really do have to be comfortable with your hammer cold stare if you're going to do the seed. It's kind of required, soft required of you to go in there without a sword, it seems like.
Yeah.
Because between the runners, I think we've seen everything that's not here. Am I correct?
Basically.
That's not also sword locked by logic. Unless there's a small key in the front of Swamp. Then there's just a sword there.
Right. Yeah, this is pretty crazy. This is really
an outlandish seed. It just keeps going and going.
Yeah. There's not so many items left.
Sleepy is going for so many chest turns. I know he likes to do that.
Yeah. It's great.
Still no swords.
And I like the early powder that Spleeby did to.
Oh, through the brick. I didn't know you could do that.
Yeah, and that lets him set the bomb earlier. I knew I had a poor strat in mind for that, so it's good to see a good strat. There we
Sword!
go. That's so perfect.
Oh, it's like in the big key chest too. It's on display. It's like, here's your sword. This is your sword that you can use to get all your other swords in the swamp.
Yeah. Maybe we'll see Swamp after all.
Maybe. The dream. But I just know it's just going to be here in right side GT. It's going to be boring. As far as this seed is boring, it's actually been quite interesting.
Yeah.
Considering it had Pendant Swamp and Mire, it was a very interesting.
True. I would encourage Mr. Byer to take advantage of his mirror shield. We can face off with the mimics without any, consequence.
Oh yeah, the Hundo strats.
Yeah.
Those look really cool, and you can basically just get up in their face and shoot an arrow and collect their drop.
Yep.
But I think most people will resort to their muscle memory. Spleeby is checking his map to find the other sword.
Yes. Could it be in the checkerboard room that is on the left side of the torch room?
Mr. Byer caught up quickly. What happened? He did all of right side and...
Yeah, Mr. Byer was the first one into GT and did right side first.
Okay.
So now Spleeby will be lagging behind a bit.
It's mostly that tile room then. I see.
Yeah.
Mr. Byer's committing to a hover?
Maybe. Or
just
hold
a
on,
double
bounce, or double
no,
dip.
No, he does have a sword. I'm so used to them not having.
Oh yeah. That's a really
Fighter
good
sword
point.
gauntlet is almost as bad as having to hover. Like,
yeah.
at least they can use medallions now. If they choose to, and they do have the half magic and silvers. They can.
Oh
nice
my gosh.
boost.
Yeah, that was a rough room there, for Byer.
It's hard. The sword's reach is so short that your normal strats might just fail because you swipe and you're used to hitting and it doesn't hit.
And he was on his way out of the room, but he didn't have the lineup with the door. But adjusting caused him to slip, and then he got hit after that. All right, now Spleeby's on his way through the gauntlet. Yeah, and like you said, this fighter sword gauntlet can be a little brutal. And Spleeby's struggling a little bit.
Yeah, these guys take so many hits. 2 hits for the blue ones.
Mm-hmm.
And again, for me, it's always that reach that gets me. Like, it's so hard to hit the enemies.
Okay, Spleeby's got his groove back. He's got the bow, just like we saw earlier in the seed.
The last 3 gauntlet rooms are so good.
Yeah, he blazed through them.
You don't need that key. There's another sword in gauntlet.
There it is.
Of course. So Spleeby's going to be in go mode when he gets... And he's actually just going to... Unfortunately, he didn't do desert yet, so he can't just drop to Ganon.
Oh, yeah.
Unless he... That's another...
Yeah.
There's another sword.
I'm not surprised. I wasn't gonna say anything, but
They're not even
I knew two
swamped.
swords wasn't enough.
Oh, this is good. Just go to GT and well, he's going for Moldorm. He's gonna hover. Oh, he's
Ooh,
gonna
yeah,
Moldorm
yeah,
bounce.
yeah.
Let's go. I want to
Yes.
see this. This is the tech I want to learn next because it looks really cool when people pull it off.
Is that it? That looks like it.
From what I
It's
gather,
getting away.
yeah, Moldorm has to charge you, right? You can't just turn around.
Yeah, this looks a little far. I haven't done this in so long, but
He must have known.
He's gonna get it.
He
But
knows
it's
how.
just
He clearly has the. It's a matter of whether he has enough.
yeah, he has to have enough bombs if he has to retry.
No.
And he's got to have, a lot of patience and kind of an ability to predict Moldorm's movement.
Can we see another sword in this chest? Mr. Buyer won't see it because you don't get the chest in Moldorm Bounce, but you do get it if you hover. Well, Sleepy's not hovering. I keep thinking he's gonna hover.
Yeah.
It is not a sword.
I still keep thinking there's a sword in Skullwoods, but I don't know if that's possible anymore. No.
So we're at 7. This tech looks cool, but it also looks very frustrating because you can't control Moldorm.
Yeah.
Well, you can to an extent, but you can manipulate him a little bit. You can't. He still has RNG. Like, you can't completely control him.
Yeah. I think the way to make this less frustrating is to just do it on every seed.
So,
Right.
what is the theory behind this? Because I actually don't know how to do it.
I don't really know the whys, but the how is that when Link takes damage and spins against Moldorm, the bounce will be kind of a mega bounce. um,
So, do you have to
I think
release? How do you
is-
know when to release your spin? Is it the same frame the bomb goes off?
there's going to be a certain color. I forgot which color it is. I think it's going to be like the third cycle of orange bomb or something like that. So we're just going to look for that color and then we just release.
Oh, this looks doable. You just have to have this Moldorm charging you at the right time.
Yeah.
So that's the orange.
Oh, no.
Whoa,
That's it. That's right. So the orange leads to the explosion, and then we want to release at the first frame of the explosion. Yes, that's
that
what
looks
it
so
is.
cool. Oh, I love seeing that. I mean, I hate hover seats, but I love seeing Moldorm Bounce get pulled off because it just looks so cool.
Yeah.
So normally that's a huge risk. Mr. Buyer knows that to get access to the rest of the seed, he just needs some way to get to Hera, and there's 2 things that'll get him there, and one of them is hook shot, and the hook shot won't be there. So it's a pretty safe play to skip that chest if you can pull it off.
That's right. I've seen Aussie, who is
nice.
known for his Moldorm bounces, be slightly, it's a risk to leave that behind.
It sure is. I feel like Moldorm Bounce for most people is going to be a last resort. You are in go mode and don't have the hook shot move. Mr. Meyer's not quite there yet, but the hook shot won't be there, and hook shot is one of the things that would put him in go mode. And he did find 2 swords up there, so he did get rewarded for the climb. Someone is asking why Sleepy didn't kill Ganon, because this is a 7-7 defeat Ganon goal. So even though we can get the hole open, Ganon will call you a dingus. I did watch your race checks. I did watch your race checks. Yeah.
Until you have defeated your goal.
Dingus.
Yeah, I wasn't gonna mention it earlier, but Spleeby left Landmo for the end. He just needed to remember.
Yeah, he was
Unlike
just-
me, he just needed to remember to go do it.
It's just, probably waiting for a better weapon or an excuse to go to Myre and mirror the desert, but because Myre never did go back there. So he kind of loses out to the routing a little bit, but he is still quite a ways ahead of Mr. Byer, who still has to do 4 dungeons.
Yeah, and we are seeing the ice clip from Bayer, so we'll see a different kind of routing applied
Nice.
here.
We get 1 clip, 2 clips. We got to see Kiki skip.
Yeah.
And we got to see Myre locked Hera. But more importantly, we got to see 3 swords in G in the multiple
Yeah.
rounds.
Yeah. Yeah, and new Ganon text
Yeah.
on Sleevy's side.
Every time I see new Ganon text, I think he's calling me a dingus.
Yeah. I was a little worried myself.
Ooh. Sleepy took some damage. He does have a fairy, so he should be okay.
Oh, okay, yeah.
There was a fairy next to the sword in the big key chest of Ganon's tower.
Fire's struggling a little bit with Icebreaker, but pulls it off. Shoutouts to his persistence there. I didn't know how that could be corrected.
And there's Bombos. Hopefully he keeps going, because Hookshot will get him there faster than Bombos.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Ooh, nice triple. Get your GGs in chat for Spleeby. Conquered this seed.
Yeah, GG to Sleevy.
He has finished in first place with a time of 1:31:03. He and Mr. Byer are the only ones racing this race today. I think Mr. Byer has forfeit. I'm thinking he's sitting there in ice. No, he's just thinking. Okay. He's gonna keep going, which means he's also opening chests. I wonder what he's thinking. If he's thinking, I don't want to do Bombos to Hera. Oh, what happened?
I didn't see.
Quick swap accident, perhaps.
That's what I'm guessing.
Maybe he just decided he's in go mode and doesn't actually want to do Ice Tea Room and decided to just do Ice again instead of backtrack. But I don't think so, because you just backtrack and fall, right?
Not really sure.
Curious to see if he opens chests. No, he's skipping the hook shot. You know what? You skipped the hook shot already. Might as well keep skipping it. Which means we might get to see Myre to Hera clip. He decides to finish this one out.
This has been the craziest race I've ever seen.
Yeah. Alright, Spleeby has joined us in chat. GG.
GG Sleepy.
So,
Wild.
elephant in
Yeah.
the room. The fact that you were not only in sword go mode for like 2 hours, but also that you were in Hera access go mode is kind of insane.
Yeah. I was like, I don't know. I came to that realization, and I was like, we not only do I need a medallion? There was a point where I wasn't sure if it was Bombos or not. But I was like, but I need a sword anyway. Like,
Yeah,
even if it is one of the 2 medallions I have, it doesn't help.
that's true. And you can't even use the medallion.
Yeah, I tried to at Turtle Rock.
So
I
did
don't,
Mr.
still don't know
Fire.
what was in the front of Turtle Rock.
Because you don't expect to be missing a sword an hour into the seed. Front of Turtle Rock was nothing good.
It was a small key and something else, I think.
Yeah, if Mr. Fire did go there, I missed what it was, but it was not a sword. So Mr. Fire actually
And then-
skipped the hookshot in Ice Palace. So he Moldorm pounced in GT.
Oh, okay.
Which is something I actually haven't seen in this tournament yet.
I saw he had the swords. I was worried that he wasn't able to finish GT while he was there.
And
yeah, so we get to see the Mire clip. That's all. Where he's going.
since no hookshot. Oh, because he
Let's
was
go to
Bombos
desert
Go
first.
mode.
Yeah, so I found Bombos and he's like, oh, I guess I already skipped the hookshot, so keep going.
That was the next check.
It was. He was so close to it. Was it Ice Tea Room?
yes.
He mirrored out for some
I
reason.
think.
That might have been an accident.
Yeah.
While going to Ice Tea Room.
And Spleeby, how did you feel about Ice Palace? About the time that about choosing Ice Palace? Did you feel like you're there that late or early?
I don't know. Like,
It's swordless.
I feel like I went there late, but how many people are gonna go there with no swords?
Right.
Yeah, the seed forced it. Essentially,
So
you could
it
have
did
done
feel
like a
late.
GT skipping hook shot, like where you go in and just commit to the hover, or you can and it's still a swordless climb that you're committing to as well. Like you have to do Aghanim with the hammer and the bug net.
I was really hoping for Bugnet. Since we had like practically everything else except Bugnet before any swords. It was ridiculous.
I thought I saw you with the bug net, but I guess I was remembering a different race today.
Yeah, no, I didn't find it.
So yeah, if you did go into GT thinking, well, there's a bunch of stuff here, and even though it's out of logic, you do get rewarded with one sword, even if you can't hover. And then it's still a fighter sword, Ice Palace, so it's still bad.
Yeah. Even like the fighter sword gauntlet was gross.
It really was. You had a really good gauntlet 3 through 5 though.
Yeah, I should have used hammer probably for the first couple.
Yeah, your archery was very good.
Oh, your Gerudo
did you like
Exile
the 2
pokies.
pokey kills? Yeah.
Those were so good. You practice that. Like, there's no way you don't practice that.
Nope.
Nope. Okay. You just do it.
I haven't played Gerudo Exile. I started going into Turtle Rock and I thought to myself, well, this is not going to be good because all I had was the bow or Canis Samaria, but that's not going to work very fast.
Yeah, and you almost medallion locked yourself a safe route to avoid it. It's very easy to medallion lock yourself out at the front of TR, but it ended up not mattering because there were enough keys in the back to get to Trinex and no big key in the front.
Yeah. When I went to check the lava chest, I was wondering about that. But I could have just gone to Laser Bridge and gotten the key there and gone to the front.
I do believe it's
I needed
always safe to medallion lock yourself if you can get to Laser Bridge. If you know the route.
Yeah.
Yeah, I never checked the medallion.
All right, so Mr. Byer's making a beeline for this room. He got 2 keys. He needs one, and then he needs one to spend in Swamp. Wait, no, he doesn't. He's going to Hera.
not
Where
Swamp,
are you going,
just
Mr.
Hera.
Byer? Oh, I've been doing too many of these. He's opening chests. I wonder why he needs the big key.
So I guess
opening.
Did Mr. Byer not get Fire Rod for a while?
Yeah, he
later? Like, I don't know why he didn't go to Ice Palace sooner.
He got Fire Rod late. I forgot where it was. Pod? Yeah, he just routed differently. So yeah, he needed the big key to open the door in here, and has to do the clip here. He can't do the bomb clip because he did not move the wall, and the wall is kind of just in the way. So even though you can't see it, it will interfere with the clip. So he's doing a dash clip, which is the first time we see that in this run.
Yeah, really
Very
cool
nice.
to see that.
A really good dash clip. I was lamenting that we would never see clips because I saw the pendants, and we get to see them. He's gonna kill Vitreous. This is. He's not gonna kill Vitreous. He's gonna. I saw the rug. He's gonna kill Moldorm in Meyer State, but that's not gonna do him any good if he collects the Meyer pendant from this room. It's gonna warp him out of the dungeon, and he's gonna lose his Meyer State. So he has to be very careful not to pick up that pendant. Okay, good.
Why would that be bad? I think he should collect the pendant, personally.
Because he would lock himself out of Hera, and he wouldn't be able to get.
Oh, yeah, right. Yeah, of course.
Yeah, he has to unlock the door.
He has to unlock the door.
I'm actually surprised he fought Moldorm at all, because you could just climb and then fight Moldorm in Hera State. This is how you duplicate, or not duplicate, we call it duping, but you're not really duplicating anything. This is how we collect the prize of a dungeon in the wrong dungeon, and why we have a rule that says you had to kill the crystal bosses.
Right.
Why do we call that duping?
It's wrong, I don't know.
I don't know either.
You can't actually duplicate prizes without... I don't know, I'm sure somebody will come up with
you
some.
get a different prize, but it's not an extra prize.
Yeah, that's true. It's not the same as duping a bottle or...
Or duping an overworld check.
I guess you could do that in this mode.
Mm-hmm.
Still haven't figured out how. Every time I try, I get a hard lock or something.
The only one I really know how to do is the dam.
I guess it has to do with big screen, small screen stuff.
Yeah, and there's some really tricky ones like Death Mountain that I tried to do in a race, and I lost time trying to figure it out a few weeks ago.
The dam is easy because they're both small screens.
Yeah.
Yeah, you know,
There's
hard lock.
nothing special you have to do there.
Do you YBA away from the screen or towards it?
Away from the dam.
Thank you.
You have to pull the dam so it's visible, and then YBA on the west screen.
Racers, take note. That's legal in this mode, and you can dupe swords. And you just have to not collect the sword first, right?
Yeah.
Correct.
So yeah, we got Hera Crystal, the last crystal, which is actually the hardest one to get because of the convoluted logic it took to get here.
Yeah, that's so funny.
When have you ever seen Hera access as your go mode? Outside of old school pre-Hera pot cross keys.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
What? Oh, he was in Fake Light World.
Yeah, that's pretty funny.
You can flute in Fake Light World because he never went to the Dark World. Or he never went to the Light World. He just came from Meyer and exited Hera and was still in the Dark World. I've never seen somebody use the portal there in Fake Light World before. I'm glad he noticed. Although it didn't matter because he could have just screen transitioned and been in the Dark World.
Yeah.
But he had to do that before portaling because then he became a real Light World. Because all the portal does is toggle your world.
Yeah.
That was hard to say. Toggle your world.
Yeah, I'm glad we saw that. I've never seen that occur before.
I've done it on purpose before to get to kind of if I get the Meyer pendant and then go to out of Hera and then I'm exit. I can think places in the Dark World, which is really cool.
Yeah.
But it's really rare that you're ever collecting the Meyer pendant in Hera on purpose, outside of no logic. Not quite the 1-on-1 for Mr. Byer. Looks like he took some fire bats while trying to do spins.
Both had the 1 and 2.
Hmm.
At least he didn't almost die.
Yeah, that was
He
he had a fairy.
Heart.
He had a fairy.
I forgot about it.
Yeah, it was in the chest next to this for your first sword.
It's in your inventory that we can see.
Sure, you also have a bead.
Good point.
What's wild is that despite being in sword go mode, both of you are untempered because of the way the swords were laid out. All right, that's
Yeah,
GG's for Mr.
yeah.
Byer.
mean,
Super
I
glad he
didn't-
finished that out for us because we got to see some cool stuff from him too. That was different from what Sleepy did.
absolutely.
Yeah. I didn't need to check the pre-Moldorm chest, but I was like, I might as well. If it's another sword.
Yeah, that's right. It's that or it's Swampmire.
And I was hoping for gold sword in the after Moldorm chest, but it
I wanted to see that
didn't
too.
happen.
It would have been funny, not just because four
More
swords in
swords in
GT,
GT would have been.
Moldorm Bounce skips it.
Yeah.
All right, get your GGs in chat if you haven't already for Mr. Byer. Has finished with an official racetime.g 1:44:32.
And we'll see if Mr. Byer is up for an interview.
And there he is. GG's. Thanks for showing us some cool stuff. That was awesome.
Hey, GG's, man.
Yeah. I didn't know I signed up for a swordless suit.
I know, right?
I checked. I scrolled up in the race time room and checked that it was a hybrid MG and not swordless.
Champion swordless. Well, Hera was Mire locked, and Mr. Byer's Go mode was Hera access, so I'm pretty. MG. Do you want me to make hybrid MG swordless? I can make that happen. Since
No,
Customizer allows it.
it kept throwing me off the entire seed. I was like, I'll just activate Super Sweet here. It's like, wait, it can't.
I'll just use the medallion here. Just hammer pegs, hammer dash the pegs.
Where was
So many things that you couldn't do through the seed.
Where was the
Hookshot was an iced tea.
You were so
Oh.
close to it, but it was also cool that we got to see Mire to Hera as the logical access to Moldorm. Because everybody just kind of hair pods now, and it's you don't get to see what the seed expects.
And thank you for showing us Moldorm Bounce. That was great to see. I wasn't sure how you were gonna deal with the top of the tower.
I actually want to learn that tonight because it looks
Ladder practice that
doable.
recently.
It looks surprisingly doable.
Oh, did he do the strat where you slash him once to get him to stay down by the bottom?
No, I just like bait him to the top left and then like winged it basically.
Yeah, there's a really cool strat where you can slash him like near the bottom to get him to stay down there
Hmm.
and then spin.
All right, well, definitely follow both of these runners. Want to see more of what you saw today, especially with this mode. They are both in the tournament, the Hybrid Major Glitches tournament, and they are both running other things as well. So give them a follow, and also give my co-com Chex Eman and a follow, also in this tournament. And our tracker, sorry, I'll just Lemmy. Our tracker, Lemmy.
Yeah, thanks so much, Malmo. It was a lot of fun. Thanks, Speed Gaming, for the restream. Thanks, Racers, for racing it.
Yeah, thanks, comms.
Yeah, thanks for the restream.
Yeah, have a good night, everybody.
See you next time.